Welcome to Learning Studio Zone. Do you want to speak English with ease? Do you wish to understand native speakers effortlessly? Do you dream of having smooth and confident conversations in English? In this video, I'm going to guide you through a journey that transforms your English speaking skills. It's easy, it's possible, and yes, it's enjoyable. Stay with me, and let's begin. Chapter 1. Why English Matters. My name is Daniel, and I come from a small town in Spain. Like many learners, I started with just a few English words. Hello, thank you, water please. But my heart longed for something bigger, the ability to connect with the world, to travel freely, and to open doors to new opportunities. One day, I decided to take a step forward and joined an English class at a local language school. That's where I met Ms. Sarah, a friendly and encouraging teacher from England. She had a warm smile and spoke slowly so we could follow along. Our class was filled with people from many countries: Italy, Brazil, Turkey, China, and Poland. We were all different, yet united by a single goal: to learn English. Ms. Sarah said something powerful on the first day. English is not just a language. It's a key. It opens doors to the world. Her words stayed with me. She explained how English is everywhere, in airports, on the internet, in hotels, and even on our phones. She promised something different from boring grammar lessons. We'll talk, we'll listen, we'll play games, we'll use real English. That excited me. I didn't want to learn rules. I wanted to speak. We began with simple conversations. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you like to eat? And from those little questions, my confidence began to grow. One afternoon, after class, I went to a cafe. 2 tourists were speaking English. I understood parts of their conversation. I smiled silently. That moment made me proud. Later that evening, I watched a video in English. I didn't understand everything, but I understood enough to keep going. The next day, I spoke more in class. Miss Sarah told us, "Don't be afraid of mistakes. Every mistake is a step forward." Soon after, I helped a tourist on the street find the train station. We spoke in English. It was a short chat, but it felt powerful. I had used English to help someone, and that made me feel like I belonged to something bigger. That night, I wrote in my notebook, "English is not a subject. It's a bridge to the world." Chapter 2. Small words, big confidence. Every journey begins with a single step, and when you're learning a new language, those first steps often feel shaky and uncertain. For me, it wasn't about mastering complex grammar rules or memorizing long vocabulary lists. My English journey truly began with small, everyday words. Simple phrases, common greetings, tiny expressions that may seem insignificant to some, but to me, they were everything. They were the building blocks of a new way of communicating with the world. It all started when I decided to stop waiting for the perfect moment to speak English. I had spent too long thinking I wasn't ready. I kept telling myself, when I know more words, I'll speak. When I understand grammar better, I'll start talking. But those moments never came. Instead, I found myself frozen, always preparing, never performing. One day, I made a decision, a small one, but powerful. I decided to use just one English phrase in my daily life. Just one. That morning, I stepped outside and saw my neighbor watering his plants. I hesitated for a second. My heart beat faster. My mind scrambled for the right words. And then, quietly but clearly, I said, "Good morning." He looked up, smiled, and replied, Good morning to you too. That was it. A simple exchange, a two-word greeting. But to me, it felt like climbing a mountain. I had spoken English, and I had survived. That day, something changed inside me. It wasn't just about language anymore. It was about courage. That small phrase gave me a taste of what it felt like to connect with someone in a different language, and more importantly, it gave me confidence. So, I decided to do more. Every day I challenged myself to use at least 3 simple English phrases. In the beginning, they were very basic. Thank you. Excuse me. Please come in. I'm sorry. Can I help you? How are you? These weren't complicated sentences. They didn't require advanced grammar or a big vocabulary, but they had power. Power to open doors, power to start conversations, power to make me feel like I was part of the English-speaking world. At the grocery store, I would say, "Thank you," when the cashier handed me my change. At the bus stop, I'd ask someone, "What time is it?" At work, I'd greet my co-workers with a friendly, "How are you today?" Most people responded with a smile or a kind word, and even if they didn't, I still felt proud, because I was trying, I was learning, I was growing. Chapter 3. Mirror, Mirror. Practicing with myself. In the beginning, I often felt alone in my English journey. I didn't have a speaking partner. I didn't live in an English-speaking country. There were no English clubs nearby, and while online resources were helpful, they couldn't replace the feeling of a real conversation. So I found a new friend, someone who was always there, someone who never judged me, never laughed at my mistakes, and always listened. That friend was the mirror. Yes, the mirror became my speaking partner. At first, it felt silly. I stood in front of my mirror and said, "Hello, how are you today?" I laughed at myself. I felt awkward. I wasn't even sure what I was doing. But something inside me said, "Keep going. Don't stop now." So I continued. Every morning, after brushing my teeth, I'd look into the mirror and talk. Just a few sentences. I'd say, "Today is going to be a good day. I will learn something new today. I am learning English, and I am proud of myself." Some days I'd talk about what I planned to do. Other days, I'd describe what I was wearing or how I felt. I didn't worry about grammar or perfection. My goal was simple: to speak. Slowly, things started to change. I began to notice my pronunciation improving. I started becoming more expressive. I looked into my own eyes and saw someone who was trying, really trying, to change, to grow, to become fluent in English. And that made me proud. Speaking to the mirror helped me in ways I didn't expect. It wasn't just language practice. It was confidence training. I practiced body language. I practiced smiling while I spoke. I practiced using my hands to express ideas. I even practiced pausing and speaking slowly. All of this helped me become a better communicator. It also helped me think in English. When I practiced in front of the mirror, I stopped translating from my native language. I started forming my thoughts in English, even if they were simple. That shift was powerful. I turned this into a daily routine. Each morning, I would stand in front of the mirror and talk for 5 to 10 minutes. I pretended I was having a real conversation. Sometimes, I'd imagine being in a job interview. Other times, I'd act like I was giving a presentation. I played different roles: teacher, traveler, shopkeeper, tourist. This made practice more fun and creative. And do you know what happened next? I began to enjoy it. Yes, enjoy speaking English. That joy gave me motivation to keep going. I stopped being afraid of speaking. I started to believe in myself. Even if I made mistakes, I didn't feel embarrassed anymore. After all, I had already made hundreds of mistakes in front of the mirror and survived them all. One day, something incredible happened. I was walking in the park when a foreign couple asked me for help. "Excuse me," they said. "Can you tell us where the lake is?" Without thinking, I smiled and replied, "Yes. Just walk straight ahead and turn right after the playground. You'll see it on your left." They thanked me and walked away, and I stood there, smiling. I had just spoken English with confidence, no hesitation, no fear, and I knew exactly why I could do it, because I had already said those same words to myself dozens of times. That's when I realized something powerful. Practicing alone isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. Many people wait for the perfect partner to practice English with. They keep searching for a friend, a classmate, or a tutor. And while those things are helpful, they're not necessary at the start. The truth is, you are your best practice partner. You are always available. You are free. And you are patient. If you have a mirror, you have a teacher. You have a listener. You have a space to grow. Sometimes I even used my phone as a mirror. I would turn on the front camera and record myself speaking. At first, I hated the sound of my voice. I cringed when I saw my mistakes, but I kept going. I knew that growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. Later, I started playing little games with myself. I'd pick a random object in my room and talk about it for 1 minute. For example, chair. This is my chair. It's made of wood. I sit here every day. It's comfortable and I like it. Phone. I use my phone to listen to English podcasts. I also use it to watch videos and learn new words. It didn't matter if the sentences were simple. What mattered was consistency. Every day I practiced. Every day I improved. And slowly, those small sessions added up to big results. One of my favorite things was practicing expressions and emotions. I'd stand in front of the mirror and say the same sentence with different feelings. I am happy to see you. Excited. I am happy to see you. Calm. I am happy to see you. Shy. Chapter 4. Thinking in English. The Secret to Fluency. For a long time, I believed that the only way to speak fluent English was to study grammar, memorize vocabulary, and pass language exams. But no matter how much I studied, something was missing. I could write a paragraph, but I couldn't have a conversation. I knew the rules, but when I tried to speak, my brain felt slow. I hesitated. I translated every sentence in my head before speaking, and by the time I was ready to talk, the moment had already passed. I realized something important. If I wanted to speak English fluently, I needed to stop thinking in my own language. I needed to start thinking in English. But how do you do that? How do you stop thinking in your native language and start thinking in a new one? At first, it seemed impossible. My brain was trained to think in my mother tongue. Every idea, every thought, every emotion came in the language I grew up speaking. But I discovered that it's not only possible to change this, it's actually natural. You just need the right mindset and practice. Step 1. Start small. Think in words. In the beginning, I didn't try to form full sentences in English. That would have been too much. Instead, I started with individual words. When I woke up, I'd say in my head, bed, morning, wake up, cold, while brushing my teeth, toothbrush, paste, clean, fresh. When eating breakfast, bread, tea, hot, sweet. I did this all day long. I looked around and named everything in English. Chair table, window, phone, sky, shirt, shoes. I turned my life into an English vocabulary game, and slowly, those small words became natural. I didn't have to translate anymore. I saw the object, and the English word came instantly. That was the first big step. Step 2. Move to simple sentences. Once I felt comfortable with words, I moved to simple thoughts. Very short sentences that reflected what I was doing. I am walking. It is raining. I am tired. She is talking. I like this song. I didn't worry about grammar or structure. The goal was fluency, not perfection. I just kept thinking in English. I made it my habit. At first, I had to remind myself, but soon it became automatic. When I was alone, my mind naturally chose English, and every time it did, I smiled, because I knew I was improving. Step 3. Describe what you see and do. Another powerful habit I developed was describing everything around me in real time. When I walked down the street, I'd think, there's a boy riding a bicycle. The car is fast. The woman is wearing a red dress. In the kitchen, I'm boiling water. The kettle is hot. I need a spoon. Even if I didn't say it out loud, I'd speak the words in my mind. It was like having a silent conversation with myself in English all day. This technique trained my brain to function in English, not just translate. Step 4. Ask yourself questions one day. I decided to push myself further. I started asking myself questions in English. What will I eat for dinner? Why am I feeling tired today? What do I need to do tomorrow? How was my day? And I would answer, also in English. This was a game changer. I began to build not just vocabulary, but thinking patterns in English. I stopped depending on translation. My mind slowly shifted from second language mode to native speaker mode. It wasn't magic. It was practice. My first conversation in English. A moment I'll never forget. There are some moments in life that never fade. You don't need a photo to remember them, and you don't need to write them down. They live in your heart, vivid and unforgettable. For me, one of these moments was the first time I had a real conversation in English. Not just a greeting, not just a few words, but an actual flowing conversation with a stranger. It was the kind of moment I had been preparing for without even realizing it. It happened on a bright afternoon as I walked through the park, enjoying the warm sun and soft breeze. I had just finished listening to an English podcast and, like always, I was thinking in English, describing everything I saw in my head. Birds flying, children laughing, trees swaying. As I walked, I noticed a man standing near a signboard. He looked lost, glancing left and right. I hesitated for a moment. Then he turned toward me and asked, "Excuse me, do you know how to get to the museum from here?" In that instant, my heart skipped a beat. My mind raced. This was it, the moment I had unknowingly been waiting for. I told myself, "You've practiced this. Don't be afraid, just speak." I smiled and replied, "Yes. The museum is near. You just need to walk straight for about 5 minutes, then turn left at the second traffic signal. It will be on your right side." He looked relieved. "Oh, thank you so much," he said, smiling warmly. I was walking in the wrong direction. That moment gave me a little burst of courage. We started talking. He asked if I was from around there, and I said yes, explaining that I lived nearby and often came to the park for walks or to listen to podcasts. What he said next shocked me. "Your English is really good." I had waited for years to hear those words, and now here they were, spoken by a stranger in a natural conversation. We chatted a little longer about the weather, travel, and language learning. I told him I was practicing English every day on my own. He nodded and said, "You're doing a great job. The best way to learn is to use it, just like this." When we said goodbye, I walked away slowly, with a wide smile on my face. I had just spoken English with a real person, not with a mirror, not into my phone, and not just in my thoughts. I had spoken, responded, connected, and most importantly, I had not frozen. I didn't forget words. I didn't panic. That single moment changed how I saw English. It was no longer a challenge or a fear. It became a tool I could use. That first conversation taught me something powerful. You don't have to be perfect to speak English. You don't have to know every word or every grammar rule. You just have to be brave enough to try. Real conversations build real confidence. Looking back, I see how all the practice led to this. All the times I spoke in front of the mirror, whispered words while walking, described things in my head. Every single effort prepared me for that one beautiful moment. Fluency, I realized, doesn't arrive suddenly. It grows silently, day by day, thought by thought, until one day it bursts out of you in a conversation you never expected. So if you're still waiting for your first real conversation, don't worry. It's coming, and you can prepare for it. Start speaking now, even if you're alone. Talk to yourself. Practice simple sentences. Imagine real-life situations, and most importantly, let go of the fear of mistakes. They are part of the journey. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. That conversation in the park reminded me of something deeper. A conversation is more than words. It's connection. And when you finally connect with someone in English, even for a few minutes, you'll feel something powerful. Pride, excitement, joy. You'll know that all your hard work was worth it. When your first moment comes, whether it's in a park, a cafe, or online, don't run away. Smile, speak, begin. That day, I didn't just speak English. I proved to myself that I can speak English. And so can you. Chapter 6. The Power of Listening. How I learned to understand real English. There was a time when listening to English felt like walking through a storm without an umbrella. Words flew past me like heavy rain, fast and unclear. I would catch one or two here and there, but the full meaning always escaped me. In class, I could understand the teacher because she spoke slowly and clearly. But real English, the kind people use in movies, podcasts, or on the street, was a different world. It was fast, emotional, full of expressions and slang I had never heard before. And I remember thinking, will I ever understand this language like they do? The turning point came when I changed my mindset. Instead of trying to understand every word, I focused on getting the meaning. I stopped translating in my head. I stopped trying to be perfect. I gave myself permission to just listen, like a child does when they first hear their native language. That's when I began to see listening, not as a test, but as a powerful tool. A tool that could teach me pronunciation, sentence structure, and most importantly, how English actually sounds in real life. I started small. I listened to short YouTube videos and children's stories in English. I listened to one speaker at a time and chose content with subtitles so I could read along. If I didn't understand something, I didn't pause. I just kept listening. Over time, something magical happened. My ears began to tune in. Words that once sounded like noise started to make sense. I began recognizing patterns, how people greet each other, how they express surprise, how they tell stories. I noticed that real English isn't always perfect. People pause, they use simple words, they repeat themselves, and that gave me confidence. I didn't have to sound like a textbook. I had to sound like a person. One of the best practices I discovered was shadowing. I would play a short sentence and repeat it aloud immediately, copying the speaker's rhythm, tone, and pronunciation. At first, it felt strange, but soon it became fun. I was not just listening, I was training my mouth and mind at the same time. I did this every day. A few minutes in the morning, a few more at night. My voice began to match the sounds I heard. I was learning without even realizing it. Music also became a huge part of my learning. I listened to English songs, read their lyrics, and sang along. It didn't matter if I sang well or not. What mattered was how much it helped my ear adjust to the natural flow of English. I would play the same song again and again until I understood every word. The rhythm of music helped me remember phrases, and soon I found myself using lines from songs in real conversation, without even trying. Movies and TV shows opened another door. I watched with subtitles at first, then I watched again without them. I didn't aim to understand every line. I just wanted to feel the emotion, the context. Watching how actors moved, how they used their face, hands, and voice helped me connect English words with real feelings. Slowly, I began to understand jokes, sarcasm, even cultural expressions that didn't exist in my language. Another powerful habit I built was passive listening. I would play English audio in the background while cleaning, cooking, or walking. I wasn't always focused, but my brain was still absorbing the sounds. This constant exposure made English feel familiar. It became part of my daily environment. No longer foreign, no longer frightening. What surprised me the most was how listening improved my speaking. The more I listened, the better I spoke. I started using expressions I had never studied. My pronunciation improved naturally. I understood the tone, the rhythm, the pauses. I could guess how to say things just by remembering how I had heard them before. I wasn't just memorizing English, I was living it. But the journey wasn't perfect. There were days when I felt stuck. Some accents were hard to understand. Some topics bored me, but I didn't give up. I reminded myself, babies don't learn language by studying. They learn by listening. So I listened again, and again, and again. Today, I can understand real English, spoken fast, in different accents, and in different contexts. I don't need subtitles anymore for most videos, and I can follow conversations without fear. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over time, with love, patience, and practice. So if you're struggling to understand spoken English, here's my advice. Don't be afraid of the fast pace. Don't try to translate every word. Just keep listening. Focus on the meaning, not the individual words. Use subtitles when you need to, but don't depend on them forever. Shadow native speakers. Listen to music. Watch movies. Surround yourself with English sounds. Remember, listening is the first step to speaking. The more you listen, the more natural English becomes. And one day, you'll smile when you realize you're not just understanding English, you're feeling it, you're living it. And soon, you'll be speaking it more confidently than ever before. Chapter 7. Speaking Alone, My Secret Practice Method. One of the biggest challenges I faced in learning English wasn't vocabulary or grammar, it was practice. Real, spoken, out-loud practice. I didn't have many people around me who spoke English. I couldn't afford language classes, and I was too shy to speak in front of others. But deep inside, I knew that if I wanted to speak English fluently, I had to speak it, even if I was the only one listening. That's when I discovered a powerful secret: speaking alone. It may sound strange at first. Why talk to yourself? Isn't that silly? That's what I thought in the beginning too. But slowly, I realized that this silly method was the key to building my confidence. When you speak alone, there's no fear. No one is judging your grammar. No one is laughing at your mistakes. It's just you and your voice, learning, correcting, and growing. I started small. Every morning, I would stand in front of the mirror and say a few sentences in English. Good morning. How are you today? What are your plans? Then I would answer them myself, like I was having a real conversation. I'm fine, thank you. Today I have a lot of work. I want to finish my English lesson and go for a walk. It felt strange at first, but also exciting. I was using English like a real language, not just something I read in books. I turned my daily activities into English practice. While brushing my teeth, I described what I was doing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'll wash my face next. Then I'll make breakfast. While cooking, I would say, now I'm cutting vegetables. I need to add some salt. I like this dish. It smells so good. It may seem like nothing, but these small moments helped me think in English, and that changed everything. Speaking alone helped me notice my weak points. Sometimes I would get stuck searching for a word. Instead of stopping, I would describe the word I couldn't remember. For example, if I forgot broom, I'd say, the thing we use to clean the floor. That kept the conversation going and trained my brain to be flexible. Another method I used was pretending to speak with someone. I imagined different situations, talking to a tourist, ordering coffee at a cafe, or asking for help at a shop. I created both sides of the conversation. Hello? Can I help you? Yes, I'm looking for the red dress. It was like playing a game, but with real benefits. I also started recording my voice. I'd speak for a few minutes about anything, my day, my thoughts, or a story I liked. Then I'd listen to the recording. At first it was painful. I hated the sound of my own voice, and I could hear every mistake. But I didn't let that stop me. I used it to learn. I would repeat the same sentences with better pronunciation and clearer rhythm. And slowly, my voice changed. It became more confident, more fluent. Speaking alone gave me freedom. I could talk about anything, anytime, anywhere. No schedule, no fear, just practice. And the best part? I was creating my own learning environment. My room became my classroom. My thoughts became my teachers. Over time, I noticed something incredible. When I did speak with other people, in class, in a store, or with a stranger, I didn't freeze. My mouth already knew how to form the words. My brain was used to thinking in English. I wasn't searching for vocabulary. I was ready. Many people wait for the right moment to speak. They think they need a partner, a class, or a perfect sentence. But the truth is, you already have everything you need. Your voice, your thoughts, your willingness. That's enough. So if you're learning English and feel like you have no one to talk to yourself. Speak in front of a mirror. Pretend. Record your voice. Narrate your life. Don't worry if it sounds awkward. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to practice. Because the more you speak, even alone, the more natural it becomes. You stop translating. You stop overthinking. You start flowing. Speaking alone gave me the courage to speak in front of others. It built a habit. It trained my brain and my mouth to work together. It turned fear into fluency. So don't wait. Don't be silent. Speak alone today, and soon you'll speak with the world. Chapter 8. This is just the beginning. Keep walking, keep speaking. As I come to the end of this journey, the journey I've shared with you from shy beginnings to growing confidence, I want to tell you something very important. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. Learning English, or any language, isn't about reaching a final destination. It's about moving forward every single day, step by step. Sometimes the steps are big, like speaking to someone for the first time. Sometimes they're small, like whispering a sentence to yourself or watching a 5-minute English video. But every step matters. Every word you speak, every sentence you hear, every moment you spend with English, it all adds up. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. There were days I wanted to give up. Days when I thought, maybe I'm just not good at this. But then I remembered why I started. I wanted to connect with the world. I wanted to grow. I wanted to understand people and be understood. And you know what? So do you. That's why you're here. That's why you've listened to this story. So don't stop now. Whether you've just started or you're already walking far along the road, keep going. Keep practicing. Keep believing. Maybe you're still afraid to speak. That's okay. Speak anyway. Maybe you still make mistakes. That's okay. Make them anyway. Because mistakes are not the opposite of learning. They are a part of it. They are your proof that you are trying. And always remember this. Fluency doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being persistent. From showing up, from practicing, from not giving up, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. I hope this story has reminded you that learning English is not a lonely path. You're not alone. I've been there. Many others have been there. And we're walking this road together. And if this journey has inspired you, if even one sentence gave you hope or confidence, then I ask you, stay connected. Don't walk away and forget what you felt here today. Please subscribe to this channel. Like this video if it helped you. And most importantly, share it with someone who is also learning English. You never know. Your small act of sharing might give someone else the courage to start speaking. Every day, I'll be here sharing more stories, more lessons, and more tips to help you speak English naturally and confidently. So, whenever you need support, motivation, or simple practice, just come back to this channel. This is your English home. A place where mistakes are welcome, practice is powerful, and you are always supported. So, my friend, thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for listening to my story. And thank you for not giving up on your dreams. Now go speak. Speak alone. Speak with others. Speak with courage. Keep walking. Keep learning. Keep believing in yourself. Your journey is just beginning. And I'll be right here, cheering for you. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.